Oh my God. Oh, that's more like it. I'm now alive. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm live. I'm really excited. Jack, I can see you. Honey bunny. Just about to confirm. So you can join me. You can. Right. So it's quite exciting because it's my first time doing this. I'm hoping. Yes, we're here.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
The excitement.
You
did it.
So palpable.
You did it.
Look at this. Oh my God. And we've got people waving. Oh, yes.
How is everyone?
Oh. Are we all good?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Miserable weather, but what more can we do?
Don't even go there. I got caught in a downpour about 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Sounds about
lasted on 10 minutes.
Oh,
so are we all happy, all well, apart from the miserable weather?
All good. Yeah.
I'm hoping
I'm okay.
today.
Firstly, happy Pride Month. Like, oh, 'tis the month to be extra weird.
Month to be joyful. Absolutely. And we're hoping that we're going to get more joy as we go through the month. It's only the second week of June.
Absolutely.
Are we the second week already? I thought we were still. I've lost track of everything this week. I'm so busy.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
I know, right? Time is going.
Before we get going, do you know what we need to do? We actually need to introduce ourselves.
Of course.
So I'm going to start because I can. So my name is Sharon Lloyd, and I am co-chair of the Diversity, Equity and Inclusivity Committee at the British Beauty Council. And I've been doing that role for about 2 years now. It's been fantastic. And I am joined today by my co-members of the committee. Can we say hello to Jo?
Hello, everyone. I'm Jo. And so an intro, my God. So I was a makeup artist. I make products and I talk about DEI stuff. I guess that's a quick summary.
Yeah. That's very quick. Too quick.
I know.
You can say much more than that.
I'm normally much more of a monologue than an intro, but I'll try and be snippety today.
Really concise. All right, okay. And we also have gorgeous Jack.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. My name's Jack Oliver. I'm a multi-makeup artist. I work on all spectrums of makeup. I will carry your set bag. I will make you a cup of tea or coffee. I will do all sorts. I will go above and beyond. But I'm also part of the DEI committee with British Beauty Council and just assuring safe spaces for queer people in this industry and more spaces for queer people in this industry. I want more space for queer people too. Or more visibility.
Jack, how long have we been friends for?
We have known each other since, because it's going to start showing ages. So if we say numbers, then people will know how old we might be. So
14 years, maybe? Something like that. A long time.
Come on, name and shame.
We have both generally seen so much growth with both of our careers and everything we've done as well, which is crazy. It's been a long journey, I tell you that.
Definitely so long.
So we are here today for one reason, and the reason is our latest campaign at the British Beauty Council, and it's called A Beauty Industry That Looks Like You. And it's been really exciting, sort of being at the sort of the back end of it and sort of seeing it develop and grow. And now it's out there, the survey's out there for everyone to complete. We really need to have an insight in how the beauty industry is valuable in everyone's lives. So I think that's going to be so insightful to get the results from all of this.
Absolutely.
So the survey's really designed to uncover the true makeup of the industry. And also we're out there collecting anecdotal data, which is really important, particularly for someone like me, because I got so much to say. And it's really about really collecting knowledge about people's experiences. So Jack, Joe, you're both from the LGBTQAI plus community. How do you identify, and how has this affected your experience of the beauty industry? So I'm going to start with Joe first.
So I kind of consider myself trans as in the umbrella of trans, because when me and Jack were young, the terms are very different, especially in the UK versus the US. I think since we've had sort of like an amalgamation of US gender ideology as well as our own, like we used to use the term androgyny to reference almost like non-binary, and there were loads and loads and loads of things that we were doing online at the time that was under that spectrum of androgyny, because it didn't mean physical androgyny. It meant that there were traits within you that were actually a combination of both gender identities. And for me, I grew up chemically intersex, so I didn't have the same hormonal levels as a boy would. So my body didn't grow like a boy's, and I had secondary sexual characteristics that were sort of grey area. So it wasn't spoken about. There was no education about it in school. I had no reference point. So while I was growing like breast tissue, but I looked physically like a boy everywhere else, and I couldn't kind of like control the way my body was growing. And that really is the best way to sort of describe gender dysphoria, because I wasn't in control of what was going on. And I went to doctors, didn't get any help with this. They didn't have any clue themselves about something like this. I had to pay privately to find out more information as I got older. And my experience has gone from living everyday femme presenting to now waking up and trying to kind of like find a balance in a grey area, because I don't want to commit to a label. I want to be transient. And I like the idea of like an angel more than I like the idea of non-binary. Because you know, like when you grew up and you saw like Angel Gabriel and things, like it was a non-gendered creature. I like that more than I like a label. So I'm going with that at the moment, but we might change in the future. Who knows? That's me.
You know, just this idea, you know, you develop who you want to be. It's not ever, ever static. It is always evolving.
Transient.
Yeah.
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 I completely see where you come from as well, because that's just it's such a nice way to put it as well, of just being, just existing and being you and being in your skin and being who you are. And I think that's the perfect way to live and just be comfortable and happy, because it's exactly like you said, you know, when we grew up all those years ago, it's just there wasn't necessarily anywhere to kind of like feel or express, because you were just kind of like, we were being our own entities and kind of evolving who we are, and that was ever changing. Like me and you both know, we've both gone through so many drastic imagery changes of just like super femme, you know, super makeup, super kind of boy in makeup, super, you know, high femme drag, you know, like I've definitely felt and been through that myself as well. I personally identify non-binary, they, them pronouns. I felt like I went through such a drastic life change of spending most of my kind of younger teens up until, you know, 18, 19, really believing that I was trapped in the wrong body. You know, I really kind of did feel like that. And it took me a long time to kind of come to my own understanding as well of, actually, you know, it wasn't all of those things. It was kind of a feeling of everything and a mixture of all of it. I didn't necessarily just hate everything. I kind of enjoyed everything. I loved everything. I loved makeup. I loved fashion. I loved hair. I loved femininity. I loved masculinity. And I kind of wanted to find that balance. And I really did put myself and found myself in that mist of both. And it's generally what brought me into this career as well, and realized, you know, standing at the bus stop and looking at the beautiful woman putting on her makeup and being like, oh my God, I want to do that. Like, that's beautiful. Like, that looks like such a nice thing to do for yourself. Okay. That then turned into this and turned into, I want to paint people. I want to make people feel like their next best person being, you know, once again, just being the best person possible. So that's why I ended up here in this industry as well, being a makeup artist, is to make people feel like them. You know, we go through so much, we put on so many different layers, and actually I've got to a stage now where I'm kind of just comfortable being like this, and this is kind of who I am now, and you know, that's perfectly fine.
So bearing that in mind, Joe, why did you want to do makeup?
I was kind of like a weird child because I grew up in a sort of religious household in a church. I lived in a church, and I did my GCSEs when I was 9, 10, and 11. So I was in a different class to everyone else, and I naturally looked ambiguous. Everyone thought I was a little girl, and then when I had all the problems with being in a religious background and that happening to me, and I couldn't find anything that I could look up to as an inspiration source. There was no examples of trans people or genderless people outside of like 80s pop stars. And there was a couple of references on TV, like when Nadia won Big Brother and things. But when I was really young, there was nothing, and I was certainly not allowed to explore things. So I found video games, and I found like, because the way that they depicted characters in video games they were like androgynous. They looked like me, and they were powerful, and they were like creatures more than people. And once I found The Sims, in the Sims folders, there is a thing called a skin, which is like the flat JPEG image of the 3D model, and it looked like a contour of a face. So I used to then play with paint, and this is like when The Sims came out, so that early on, and I used to paint my face with all different things I could find until I could get samples, and Devon's mum eventually took me to get samples. And then I started to play with makeup because it was like I wanted to create characters and I wanted to be in that character. So it's so funny because with my career in makeup, I've been online for so long, but no one really knew where I started. It was nothing to do with the way I felt in the makeup. I just wanted to play with the idea of characters. And as Jack said, how many looks have I done? I was a mermaid.
Uh-huh.
I've done it all.
I tell you that.
Yeah.
Some of our histories, oh my God, some of the images we both looked like, it's phenomenal, really, because actually we've both, you know, evolved and played so much with that character design of just us.
Yeah,
So
I didn't like makeup though. I really didn't like wearing makeup. It was like this weird sort of necessity to do what I wanted to do. And then I think because like when I first started putting it on social media, there was nothing, was there? Do you remember Julie Maskin, Jack? It was like there was like a prosthetic mask. That was the closest thing you could find to a trans tutorial on YouTube in like 2006. So like there was like nothing there. So I started to do makeup tutorials, and we were on a collaboration channel called 5AT, which is Five Awesome Trans. This was 2007, and we got to communicate with people all over the world. So it was like the first time a community building social media platform had started within our community. And I don't know, like I think makeup was always like the connector of everything. It sort of brought everyone, even though some of us were doing different things, and Jack knows there were so many like internet personas of that era. Makeup was the thread that sewed everyone together. There wasn't that much in common with everyone, but even people like Jeffree Star, who I have nothing in common with, there was a makeup commonality. So it brought everyone into this sort of like international network for the first time. But makeup's crazy.
Absolutely. I remember there being like, I don't know, there was two people from America that would like cook. They would make like food and different things like that. And then there would be like somebody else that was really focused on kind of fashion. And then there was makeup, and it was definitely a huge connecting moment of that really early on social media times of like that first moments of like YouTube, MySpace. They were like really the kind of pinnacle moments of like people actually looking at makeup in a different light as well, and playing and experimenting.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you truly feel as if you belong in the industry? I mean, you've given some really good examples, but we talked about, there's a thread here. It's about transformation and belonging. So do you feel like you belong in the industry, and why do you feel like you belong here, or why not?
Do you want to go first?
I feel like I've made myself a space in this industry. I feel like probably a lot of us feel like that, actually, especially when we are in any realm different. I feel like we've had to carve out that space for ourselves and who we are and what we're doing and where we're, you know, careering, where we push ourselves, because I feel like that has been a long time coming. That really kind of circles back into exactly what Joseph was just saying as well, with, you know, having that pinnacle moment of that very beginning point of actually then having to kind of carve out, really make that space for us to put there. I still, and you'll see me talk about this week in, week out, the past 18 months, I feel like weekly I speak about queer people, safe spaces, and just this community and this industry, because I've definitely walked on set, being, you know, a set makeup artist, campaigns, music videos, such and such. I've witnessed so much. I've seen so many things from walking on and being like, why the F am I here? Why don't I don't belong? I don't feel safe here. I don't feel like this is a space for me. And that's where I kind of withdrew for a little while. And I definitely played again with the aspect of influencer and social media, because I can then be in my own hub, create my own world, and be safe, and maybe make a bit of money from it as well to live and pay for this space. But actually, I do love, and my passion for makeup is in the sense of putting it on other people and not just putting it on myself. So I kind of had to break through. Obviously, reality TV show came up, and I was like, why not? It's an opportunity. There was a pandemic happening in the world, you know, it was a space to jump out. And I kind of had to kick that door open again. And I think, why not? What a better space to do it really was just kind of in the public eye, to be like, I'm here, I exist, I love what I do, and I am good at it. So why can't I create more of that space in this industry? So to answer your question, I don't feel like I belong, but I made myself belong, and I carved that space out for myself and others alike as well, because and this is exactly why this survey is so important to all of us. And I know that it means so much to so many people, because it is just making sure that there is a space for people and for everybody that wants to be generally just expressive in the space. You know, we didn't come into this industry to kind of work that 9 to 5. We wanted to be creative and work with people and be with people. And, you know, it was an escape from kind of that normality of world. You know, let's try and have fun with it. So
do you think that it's good to have that space, but do you think it's important to have that space recognized? Because I think that there is a danger, personally, that everything gets homogenized, and everyone is seen to be all together in this one thing. I mean, you know, it's really interesting because you talked about the commonality. You've touched on that. But actually, what's really important is to recognise the differences, which is where it gets really exciting,
Absolutely.
I think.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. I think really seeing those differences and where those spaces come in, and where people can actually maybe pride themselves in what they're doing as well, and being that difference and being that person, and kind of being able to stand there and achieve something that maybe someone else can't as well, because we are all so unique in this world. Why not show it a little bit more?
Yeah. Jo?
Well, I think the beauty industry is a very strange sort of like place, because there's so many facets of the beauty industry, from salons to the actual makeup artistry side that I love to do, and the making makeup side of things. And I've been doing my job for nearly 20 years now. I started in 2005, and I have never, only recently have I been offered a management, despite all the work I've done. I've never been offered to work on the books in like a makeup agency ever. Everyone's always said that I'm an incredible makeup artist, that my work doesn't reflect what they would sell to a client, but none of it made any sense.
No.
And even when I won, it's now 10 years since I won the U Generation competition, which was Simon Cowell's version of Got Talent hosted online, and they shut down all my press, all my publicity, because they didn't get a controlling vote in me as the winner, and me being trans at that time and openly feminine, they didn't see me as marketable. I think they wanted a girl called Emma Pickles to win, which is a long story. But because it's been 10 years, and it's kind of like I've seen how I've built and carved in my own way, as Jack just said, like I've had to kind of create my own projects consistently. And I have a giant frustration, because I know I'm talented at what I do, and I know I've always set what I've done as sort of like a precedent amongst my community, but I've not been given the platform to do it as best I could do. And even with current day things, I've been in a discussion with a TV show, because I was going to go on a TV show with a judge, and they weren't interested in paying me the same as everyone else. And that opens the questions about how we pay people. And I think it's so frustrating for me to find out, because I often get accidentally sent into CCs of emails and find out that other people that are doing much less than I've done will be paid more. And I find it just, incredibly frustrating. And I love being in full control of my own business, and I've been running my own business, and thankfully I've got a wonderful manager that kind of works alongside me because I still manage my own career. But it's very tiring, and I get very worn out because even when you come around to like Pride season, when beauty brands are looking to tick that quota of including someone LGBT, they're not even attributing all that you've done. They're just seeing you as almost like a product that fits that tick box.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I had my studying an MSc in biochemistry and making products that have sold millions. Is that a factor in that decision? Am I going to be given the same credibility as the people on the team? And often what I think my saving grace was when I started, all the big makeup artists found me. So Matthew Anderson was who did RuPaul's makeup for years. Barbara Daly asked me to go for tea. Like all these like incredible like legends in the industry saw something in me. And the creative people get it. And then the people that work in the business of the beauty industry that aren't creative sometimes find it hard to kind of see something that has not been seen before. And that's the part, and it's so exhausting with I've spoken to all different kinds of people of different intersections about having to constantly be the first person to do something, to constantly have to self-generate things, to cover your own expenses, to not be paid the same as everyone else when you're going there and you're doing the same work. And after a while, you get to a point where you're just like, well, I'm still doing content for free. I will not do any YouTube. I had the most, for 10, would you say 10 years? I was the most watched person or in the
YouTube.
Okay.
110%.
Right.
There was definitely that group of people that were like at the top for doing everything, and I can imagine no one really was making any money from that, especially back then as well. Like, no, absolutely not.
They taught us a lie. The people that were playing this taught us, like, they said there can only be one of us. Yeah. And people were very competitive, but in a negative way. Yeah. And it was so frustrating because I joined social media to find people like me. I didn't join social media to become known. And when I found like that people had been tricked into thinking we couldn't collaborate, we had to compete. Yep. That was the worst thing, because that's why I always was so determined to bring everyone together, or like when we've got events, let everyone know, share someone's details if they've got some work. And I think when I originally joined the British Beauty Council, and I was thinking about like what would really benefit people like me, and I think it would be like that network, like creating that network for people like me, so that when a brand is looking for someone that can design a product that's suitable for trans people that are growing a beard but don't want a beard, or all these kind of weird things that you think about if you are that, I thought like maybe it could be a way to mend things. So, but I feel sorry for that rant.
No. Hey, because you know what? It's making me think about the purpose of the survey, which is actually to have everyone to stand up and actually say, you know, whether actually the beauty industry really does reflect who they are, or are they, as I have found in my long life, because I'm a lot older than you, is actually what we're doing. We're scrabbling around and trying to piece things together to make it work. And it's really frustrating when you can see someone else walk straight into position because it's all set up for them, or straight onto a makeup counter because it's all set up for them. Yep. And then you just think, well, where do I exist? Yep.
Well, that's a good example, because there wasn't training around makeup department stores. So obviously when you went to a retail position in a department store, you need store approval and brand approval. When I started, I was told, even when I was modelling, I was booked for Harvey Nichols to do Sheer Mirror. I was meant to be a model in store for Sheer Mirror. And the store would not approve me because they couldn't distinguish my gender. And then when I was trying to find a retail job just in my summer holidays whilst I was at school, I was told by the department stores, your image would not fit the client. And the people, like, when I spoke to the president of Estee Lauder, I opened the EOG about this, and I said I was told by the staff at Estee Lauder that my image was too strong. So me with no makeup was too strong to work within Estee Lauder's counters because it doesn't reflect their clients. And I said, but you know, I can sell products because I can do the makeup. I understand the formulas better than most. So
it's not about you looking; it's about them.
It's about this.
You putting it on.
It's about perception, right?
Yeah.
It's about
so
perception.
there's no training.
And a small, limited understanding of the client, because you know, you've got to see it to be it in my world, and right, and so listen. I mean, I'm going to go bang on about the survey again, which is really designed to collect information from the industry and to consumers, and gather all the evidence the organisation, the British Beauty Council, needs to collect and and instigate real change across the sector, particularly when it comes to equity, inclusion and accessibility. And I'm just going to say, for those who haven't completed it, get out there. You know, we're offering, actually, do you know what we're doing? We're offering 4 lucky winners the chance to win a £1,000 goodie bag. Oh, can you believe that?
Oh, tell everyone that. I'll tell everyone that.
Wait, the spike in survey
You've got to do it. So you've got to complete that survey before the end of July.
Yep, I can imagine.
Okay, so, you know, Joe, this approach about equity and equal pay for those from minoritized groups, just, you know, I just want to capture that a little bit more, because, you know, from where I'm standing, because what I didn't make clear is that I used to be an academic that used to teach makeup and hair students. And so that ability to achieve equal pay status is so incredibly important for all young creators going out, entering the industry, and those that want to maintain that space in the industry. So are you able to share more about your thoughts here, just a little snapshot, particularly in the context of Pride?
Yeah, I think that a mechanism that would work to help this is because I think you probably noticed this when working with the big brands under the umbrellas, everyone's positions are constantly shifting and changing, and there's never the same person there year after year, even season after season. And to build connections now is kind of impossible unless you're constantly at 150 million events all the time. And what needs to happen is the access needs to be there now, because so many people are inaccessible, and it's making this industry much more confusing than it needs to be. There should be access to things, and people should regularly be routinely looking at, oh my God, do we actually have anyone for Pride that's being paid on the team,
yes.
Not just in the campaign. Hello? Or like with different hair products, like no black people design black hair products, and you're like, hello, why are you bringing these people in just for consultations? But where are the people within the company? Hello.
Don't get me started. About visibility and making sure you have the right people in the room, because
that's exactly it. It's the right people. It's the right people to do the right job. And I think that's exactly where I talk about so often these days, where it's just like, as a queer person, if I was to walk into a room and be modeling, you know, I would prefer that queer person to be definitely there and present, to at least kind of give me that little, you know, they're going to understand what I'm feeling, and that's what I'm kind of pushing, and that's what I want. So I think sometimes it is just about that person that can do that job, that is capable of doing that job. And like Joseph just said, there's so many people already there. They exist in these businesses. I've worked for so many brands, and I won't even go in to name some of them, but some of them recently too, where like in the past, you know, 3-4 years, that I have literally just been like shut down. No. I don't want you working on my shop floor because of the way that you look. Or could you cover this? You know, like could you like take this off? From even brands that I love, you know, brands that I you know, I definitely have had to kind of like overlook some of the things that have been said to me. But I've come away from brands like that as well, where I've just been like, I'm not going to work for them if that's not what I'm going to get from them. Do you know what I mean? Like there has to be a level of kind of compassion between it all, because there has to be that equal love and that equal care and that looking after. They may give you this big book of like, we do this and this and this, we'll look after you, you know, the whole like, you know, like, I don't know, I'm referencing wrong things, but like, you know, don't ask, don't tell vibes. It's almost like, but that's what I mean, in the sense that like, you know, these businesses, and sometimes, you know, I've definitely looked through the handbook and the manual of a brand, and I've been like, well, actually, you're not doing any of these things. And that was like another reason why I wanted to join the council as well. And I've kind of made myself more present in that of what I've been speaking about the past year too. And I know that things that me and Joseph and all of us have definitely been trying to do for the past decade, if not longer, you know, just making sure that people are safe in their work environments as well. And I think, once again, that's exactly why this survey is just so important, because actually there's so many spaces and there's so many things that can be done, but actually how many people are there and how many people are around and what can be done and what needs to be done, because there's so many things that they're saying these brands are doing, but they're not doing. They're not doing.
To be held accountable. I think that's going to be
exactly
really
that's exactly it. And once again,
and also to show them that their profits could increase if they changed in that way.
It just doesn't. I mean, you know, my the thing that goes on in my head: make it make sense.
Yeah, make it make sense. Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
So, both of you, I mean, you know, I don't want to sort of focus on the negativity, the things that need to be done, because that's why we're here and part of the British Beauty Council, and we are doing the survey. So I'm going to ask you, both of you, what do you hope for the future of the beauty industry when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion? What do you? If I gave you a little wish, what would you wish for?
I honestly just would love to see more people working and being paid the right thing, but also just having that love of, like, you know, realization that there is people out there that want to work. There's people that are sat there that want to go and work. You know, there is generally people that are so passionate about what they're doing, that love the craft, that love what they're capable of, that aren't given those opportunities, and the opportunities stop being unpaid. Like, this is just such a huge part of it. You know, we've all done it. We've all done the unpaid job. We've all done the unpaid assisting. We've been there. You know, we have to graft and work from the small bits to kind of get to that. And I appreciate that, because I definitely call out for trainees where it is like, I can cover your travel. But I'm one of those people that I'm so more than happy. I'm so more than happy as well to kind of make sure that it comes out of my pocket to cover their travel, because none of us are being paid. You know, I've been in a situation where none of us are being paid. No, don't get me started on that, because
I know, don't even
someone was in this chat and I had a phone call about this the other night, and I was like, it was like a 13-hour shoot, and I think I might have had like a sip of water at one point, and no one offered a drink, no one offered anything, no one offered anything, not even a proper break, you know. Oh, we're only doing 10 clients, 32 clients later, you're still painting and you're still going. So I would love for there to be just generally people that want to go and work and want to be in this industry and want to achieve and love their craft. I just want to see people enjoying themselves, because I hear so many times, even myself, I've experienced it too, and so many others alike, that we're coming home from these jobs and we're sat there and we're exhausted. It is pure exhaustion, and I don't know how many times, the bare minimum of human respect, I don't know how many times I probably sat near in tears on the phone being like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do
and you don't feel credited properly often. They don't even, because it's like, bizarrely, like, less importance than like an intern or a trainee is given to a key makeup artist on occasion. But cause I go back to when I started on my social media journey and we had these like collaboration things. I really want to do like a queer beauty coalition where we can not just like support each other within the industry, and that collaborate with each other. And maybe if you're not available for a shoot, you can recommend someone that's like your sibling in this community thing, because oftentimes I think the way that jobs happen nowadays is by knowing someone who then gets you because they know you're brilliant and they will pull you in. And it's almost like that thing again, the trick of there only being space for one person to be a genius makeup artist. No, there's enough room for everyone, because there's always the imagination to make a new project. I mean, that specific thing it's not the be all and end all of what we can do. And oftentimes when I work with people, there's that happy competitiveness, which is not trying to pull someone down. It's trying to say, let's do something all differently and see what the outcome is.
Because that's the whole point of you being a makeup artist, a makeup designer, a visionary. You're creative. It's okay. You can have another idea. It's fine.
Absolutely. We're allowed, and also we're allowed to fail, and we're allowed to do that, and then step up and keep going. You know, how many times have we all had to kind of almost kickstart and start again, and like relook at what we're doing and what we're achieving? And I really want to quickly go back to that as well, of what Joe was just saying as well, with there is enough space, and like Alex is saying in the group, in the chat as well, there's always room for everybody. There's always that one person that's doing so much and they've got so much and their pockets are bursting, and it's like, okay, but what about all these other people as well? Because there is so many people that would be so happy to go and do it as well. Why not we all just be having a little bit of fun and a little bit of enjoyment, and no one be going home at the end of the day and being like, I don't want to do this, you know?
Yeah.
There's too many, I hear too many people just say that they're exhausted in this industry, and I don't think this industry isn't about being exhausted. You know, if I wanted to do that, I'd go work in the factory and really push myself to do the 13-hour shifts of what they're doing and being paid minimum wage as well, because I really give it out to everybody. But
thankfully, we're not in Victorian England, though. You're going to be fine.
No, we're not. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's how it looks like sometimes in this industry of where we're pushing ourselves, and also everyone is grafting. You know, this day, 2024, people are grafting more than they've ever grafted, and I honestly do see that so much.
Yeah.
So, Joe, because I'm keeping an eye on the time here. So, your wish.
My wish is that we can start collaborating, because there's so much power in numbers. Even when, if one person complains, it looks annoying. If 10 people say it with the same voice, it is actually quite powerful. And I think that's the benefit of obviously this survey, because the data provides that voice. But I think that I'm really going to look into doing something to do with the queer beauty community, because all my peers that I grew up with on social media, I'm still in contact with everyone. Like me and Jack said at the beginning, we've been friends for so long. And I think whenever we've done projects together, we've not done a project together properly. No, but when there's been projects that come together, they always are just magical, because each individual person has got a story that they can put into their artwork. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like this mystical thing. And often when you get like 10 people that do different things that all work into different spider webs of these companies, you can say, oh, that person needs this, that person needs that. And then we can all work together. And it wouldn't be, because that is the frustration. The biggest frustration is when you've got these amazing projects that come out, and then you've got the week in between of like nothing to do, and it's like, not that you've got nothing to do, but it feels like, oh my god, I could be doing so much. I could be doing so many new things here. So my wish is that we start collaborating and throw away the idea of unhealthy competition. And we can start by supporting me with my fabulous new latest in beauty box.
Love it. Love it. So excited.
There we go.
And I love the little sneaky
Thank you.
preview as well. It's a little sneaky preview moment. Love that.
Gotta do a little plug. But that's my wish.
Right, give him the love. Come on.
So it's got loads of products. It's a mini kit for people to start their kits for Pride. So check it out on josepharwood.com or latest to be. There we go.
Oh my god. So that's a really good point to end on. You know what I didn't say was what my wish would be.
Yes.
And my wish is to change the status of makeup artists and actually get rid of the word makeup artist, because actually you're problem solvers, aren't you? You're multifaceted. You're designers, okay? You're makeup designers, and even maybe makeup designer is not even a strong enough word that encompasses everything that you do, because I'm hearing you right now. You do so much. And,
a creature of strange behaviours.
Literally what I said at the beginning, it's not just this, I will do everything for you. And on my bio, I removed makeup artist. It now says multi-artist, because I did that maybe about 6-7 months ago, because I realized I was doing so much more than just being a makeup artist. And it's the same with it's the whole terminology of like MUA. It's kind of thrown around so much, and it's just like, it used to mean something so much kind of more special in that sense of like a real, you know, it's almost like the blue tick used to be that kind of signature of like, okay, whereas now anyone can buy a blue tick, so it kind of took away that feel of it. So it's almost making sure that those people that are and have grafted, have talented and have got so much talent is, like you just said, taking away that kind of that
knowledge, the knowledge bank that both of you have right now. Come on. Right? That's how special you are. So thank you for today, spending some time with old Sharona.
I always love chatting with you.
I can't wait to see you guys like in a couple of months at the British Beauty Council,
Absolutely.
British Beauty Week.
Of course, of course.
So just my last plug, if you haven't done the British Beauty Council's survey, a beauty industry that looks like you, where have you been?
Where have you been?
Get involved.
Get off TikTok for a minute, stop scrolling, and just spend 10 minutes and just really read it. Because honestly, I sat down and I've actually been on jobs recently, and I've sat down with people too, and they've been like, oh, it's so, it's a survey, oh my god. And it's like, no, read it and actually really kind of absorb it, and just give yourself those 10 minutes to kind of just like think about it, and actually it comes to you. When I filled it out personally, that last box, I didn't stop. I think I hit the limit, because it was just like, there's so much. And once again, I think that's great. I think the more people that are kind of putting their word and saying their stance, it's giving you and everybody else out there the space to actually say something. And I think that's what's so important about this beauty census and this survey. It's absolutely important, and it's vital for everybody's careers and lifestyles, and just living and just enjoying this industry.
Yeah.
Make a difference. Yeah.
Add your voice.
All right. That's it. I'm going to show you some love and let you get on with your evening.
Have a good one.
And I'll speak
Enjoy.
to you
Bye.
very soon.
Thank you for having me.
Speak to you
See you
soon.
both later. Bye, everyone. Bye, Alex. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay.